What's up, YouTube? So, good question here. Peak quarterback. Kurt Warner versus Matthew Stafford. Who had the better peak to me? This a no-brainer. This one is Kurt Warner. Now, Matthew Stafford, who I sometimes call Matthew Statpad, had Megatron, had a good situation in Detroit, had a good situation with the Rams. Obviously, he didn't have the greatest show on turf. That's what Kurt Warner had. But who got the most out of what they had? It was Kurt Warner. I mean, when you go from bagging groceries to being a two-time league MVP, and you take two teams to the Super Bowl, because he did take the Arizona Cardinals Super Bowl, and that was a close Super Bowl loss to Pittsburgh. That interception to James Harrison was the turning point really in that game. Because think about it, Kurt Warner was so close to being a two-time, and when you get down to it, um, when you think about it, he really understood the offense really well. He was tough. So when I think about it in hindsight, he's actually one of those guys that if he had another Super Bowl win, we'd be debating him. He'd be in a stronger debate because if he had two chips with two league MVPs, there could be a real strong debate with him against Aaron Rodgers, dare I say. I think Kurt Warner was better or as good as Eli Manning. He with one less ring. So, and you look at his career and his peak was pretty impressive. I got to say, that's just my personal opinion. But we're going to debate this. You can feel free to give it to me in the comments. I don't mind. It was a great question that was brought to me about peak Kurt Warner versus peak Matthew Stafford. And football is very interesting because when we start having these kind of debates, we nitpick, we kind of look to see who fits this void, who fits this window. But I think it's a good question. I think it's very viable. I think it's one of those things that you can definitely run with, and you take into consideration. So they both, Stafford is because his stats are going to be more expandable than Kurt Warner, but we're talking about the peak. And nowhere have I seen Matthew Stafford, despite having some great receivers and talent around him, nowhere have I ever felt like Matthew Stafford had hit what Kurt Warner hit. Kurt Warner hit the mother load. I mean, that was a very distinctive offense. And for a lot of times, sometimes people look at what he had and kind of downplayed him. But in hindsight, when he took Arizona to Super Bowl, he took St. Louis went to two Super Bowls. The Rams went to two Super Bowls, and he won with Arizona. So he went to three Super Bowls. So he's 1-2. So think about that. That carries weight. You know that does carry weight, and he was considered kind of dominant for that era. So it makes interesting discussion. So I think that this one to me is pretty one-sided. I know Stafford's stats, and when we get to totality, you're going to say, oh, blah, blah. But if we looking at, you know, just on what this is between this question here, it's Kurt Warner for me. I don't have to even think twice about it when I think about it because I remember what he did. And Matthew Stafford he had a chance against Philly last year, and he just doesn't quite seal the deal. He's had some talent around him though. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another. Share if you like, and hit that membership because when you do, questions like this do be answered. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. This was a great question. I'm out. Peace.